everybody. It's me, Domino SNK.
I'm Devin3000.
I'm PootieTang69.
And I'm Bombrider.
Yep, and today we are here to talk about our favorite Tekken representative, Heihachi Mishima. And, due to Sony Santa Monica claiming that they will, listen to feedback for things to patch in, things to patch out, and, might as well just focus on Heihachi today. So, going off of that, Pootie, where does this character currently stand, in the tier list?
From what I've been told from other people, and from what I've been looking at from all the other characters, he's about a mid-tier, roughly.
Okay. And, so Bomb, what's a typical Heihachi gameplay? Just get in their face and, combo them into, to gain the levels and stuff?
Yeah. Well, since Heihachi's a melee fighter, he's limited to close quarters, with the exception of his bowling pin. But the idea is to quickly maneuver around your opponent, and get in the hits as quickly as you can, combo as fast as you can. And you also have the mental fighting style. Yeah.
Okay, so going by that, Bomb, what are some of Heihachi's better matchups?
I'd probably say, a lot of the low tiers, like Radic, Jack, Toro. He actually doesn't really have a whole lot of bad matchups. I feel like he can pretty much fight anybody. You just make the right reads. His good matchups are kind of hard to define, to be honest, because it's all about who can outthink the other. Because I feel like he plays a very heavy mix-up game, and whoever guesses right every single time is going to win when it comes to Heihachi.
Okay, so
he's a fighter.
Wow. Okay, so
Say he's matchup wise, you'd say he's pretty well rounded. He doesn't destroy, but he doesn't get destroyed.
I think in terms of his bad matchups, these are pretty much his bad matches are pretty much going to be the matches to where he can't characters with they can basically just go up in the air and stall. So his Kuma can't kill them, and characters that just really they'll kill confirm you from anything like Cole and Raiden. He has a bit of problems with he gets kind of outzoned sometimes, and he has a lot of difficulty with landmines, I feel like, and sometimes characters with counters can give him a little trouble too, because he has to be up close a lot of the time.
Well, I guess we'll just go from there. And what do you think? How do you feel that Heihachi should be tweaked or improved? What do you think could make his game better, make his bad matchups not as bad, just make him a more prevalent force in the game in general? Well,
one of the things Heihachi has a problem with are characters that either zone or have mines, or both in that case. And one of the things Heihachi has problems with is just getting to the opponent that just likes to stick around in a certain area. Sackboy, Isaac, and Sweet Tooth all fit that description pretty well, and when they can keep him at an arm's length, since he's so up close, it's a little bit difficult to fight on Heihachi's behalf. One of the things me and Bombrider were discussing were his wave dash. If its distance could be increased, maybe by about 25%, which wouldn't be very much considering, how short of a distance it goes, that it should be able to give him a momentary invincibility over the mine so he can actually get in there.
Okay, so to give it more purpose, essentially.
Right, so he's just not stuck in the same game of trying to get up close and then just being knocked up in the air or pushed away, or just kept at arm's length where he would be useless because he has to get up close.
Okay, so if you do it at a wrong time, you would still be, open to punish for the sake of balance, correct?
Right.
Okay. How do you feel about Kuma's AI? I guess it's pretty much the biggest concern regarding Heihachi. His Kuma AI.
Personally, I think a lot of people. I mean, it's random, yes, but it's also the longest-lasting level 2 super in the game. So it kind of has a fair trade-off, and the fact that you can actually manipulate the opponent's position by hitting them into Kuma, you still do have some degree of control. I think people are a little too focused on the AI. It is random again, but really the big problem with Kuma right now is that there are certain characters that can go up too high in the air for Kuma to reach, and they could just basically stall to the point to where Kuma could never reach it. I think that's really the major problem. And the other problem is to where this is an AI problem, to where he just jumps off the cliff and never respawns.
Essentially making the whole level 2 completely moot, correct?
Right. The thing is actually me and Pretty were talking about this earlier, how if you jump off the cliff with your level 2 super, you lose that level 2 super. But at the same time, Kuma, you have no control over what Kuma's doing. If he jumps off the cliff, that's not the player's fault. That's just the AI being random. I mean, that's really the major problem. I mean, I feel like a lot of people are saying that the way to fix this is to just let Heihachi become Kuma for the level 2 duration. I don't feel like that's the right approach. I feel like it can be fixed if you just just let Kuma reach higher spaces by letting him jump higher, or use that uppercut in higher spaces, and maybe just let Kuma respawn after he jumps off a cliff. If that's too much, you can just let it save off a second or two from its duration, and problem is basically solved there.
Or something like if he kills himself, you get back some AP since you didn't technically use everything up. Something like that, maybe? I don't know.
I think that'd be kind of hard to... might be a little too hard to get the right values for, I think, because...
It's one of those things that's like kind of difficult to build a ratio to, correct?
Well,
right,
I mean,
right.
how much AP is his level 2?
It's 400 AP.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, and let's say... And how long does it last?
But see, here's the thing. Like, let's say he gets a kill, and then maybe 2 seconds later he decides to drown.
Well, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it might last 10 seconds. I'm not 100% on that though. So I don't know if they made it to where if he jumped off at the 5-second mark, you get 50% of your meter back. That might work, I guess.
Yeah. No, I definitely think your original thought where he would just respawn would probably make more sense.
Even if it's as a penalty, you lose 1 second from the duration. I mean, that's fair, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a lot more fair.
I don't even see that much reason for the penalty because it's not your fault he killed himself.
Oh yeah, so. that was actually my rant, but I think it's actually Pootie that wants 1 second penalty, so maybe he can chime on that.
Well, the reason I suggested the penalty was, while other characters will lose their level 2, I think that would make Kuma too powerful, should he respawn and be completely unaffected. Well, one of the important things about the character balancing that we want would be if somebody is clever enough to use that cliff or what have you, to get away from Kuma. If Kuma's to follow them and immediately get them right afterward, how would that make that fair for the other player?
Well, I mean, usually at the respawn points bring them back to always a specific position on the map.
Yeah, yeah.
So, like if they were to fall off in Alden's tower, for example, they respawn next to the left side of the screen rather than immediately next to the pit, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So that would still give the opponent space.
Yeah, just like how level 3s with installs like Narcos, when she at Franzia, if she wants to jump into the water, she'll teleport to the left. Where she's gonna go.
Mm-hmm. That's level 3s though.
Well, I just mean as far as respawning is,
right,
there's a set respawn area for when you jump off cliffs or fallen area and parts that will kill you.
Are there any other of his moves that you feel that should have some tweaking? Since I feel that we've hit a comfortable spot with Kuma, with allowing Kuma just to respawn rather than completely disappearing.
There is actually a few moves I like tweak. I don't know if anybody's noticed this, but his counter, it's one of the only counters in the game that won't give you a kill confirm. But with that said, if you whiff it, pretty much your opponent has enough time to go into the kitchen, make a sandwich, come back, and he'll still have enough time to punish it. It has more whiff recovery than any other counter in the game, and it gives the least amount of rewards. So I kind of want them to just trim down on the recovery a little bit. It's just way too much right now.
To fall in line with the other counter recovery times, essentially?
I'd say around Dante's time, because I do think Raiden's counter and Sly's counter might be it's a little too fast.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of whiff recovery, I think actually his grab, despite being a melee character, his grab it's one of the highest whiff recovery in the game. I think they could tone that down a little bit too. Also, his bowling. I'd like them to increase it to 15 AP instead of 10 AP. There's also an issue. I'm not sure if this is a bug or it was just. I personally think it was just an oversight. If Heihachi does his charge hands, then he throws a bowling. He will waste his charge hands, but the bowling pin gains no additional AP.
That seems more like it's a glitch, though.
I personally like it to where whenever he throws his bowling pins with the red charge, it just doesn't waste the red charge, but his bowling pins get no bonus. It's completely independent from the charge.
How exactly does the red charge work? I'm a little fuzzy on that.
Like when you hit somebody, you get 3 times as much AP as normal. So if I hit you with a 20 AP attack, you'll gain 60 AP. But there's also a bug about it that we'll talk about later, I guess.
And what makes it disappear?
If you either whiff an attack with Heihachi or you hit someone, like you throw out if you throw out an attack.
Oh, so it's only your next attack.
Yes, one attack. Right.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
We also discussed the amount of charge time for his down circle move. That usually leaves him open for attack, and even if he does decide to strike, it is more than easy to see coming, so we thought about reducing the charge time by maybe 10 or 20%, because Evil Cole can charge his punch too, but he can do it in small spurts. He doesn't have to do it all at once. Heihachi gains no bonus from charging halfway and then deciding to stop and go charge somewhere else.
Okay. And for clarification, Heihachi's down charge move doesn't even have armor, correct?
It does not.
Okay. So basically, it's pretty much an inferior Cole punch in every regard.
That is exactly what it is.
Okay, so like you just feel that you should be able to cancel, let's be able to charge it up partway, cancel it by jumping or something, then continue it later.
That sounds fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Either that or just reduce the amount of time to try to even it out.
Okay.
Are there any other moves that you feel?
Another big thing I've been seeing around the community is there's a lot of discussion about giving Heihachi more level 1 kill confirms. And I feel like that's another bad approach because you basically just be creating another Raiden. That's something I think we should try to avoid. So rather than increasing the number of moves that he can hit confirm with, I think it'd be better if we just improve the ones he does have, like his neutral air square. Just increase the hitbox a little bit because it's kind of hard to connect against short characters sometimes. And actually, speaking of that charge punch, the down circle and the square, it's actually there seems to be some sort of issue where it just kind of passes through the opponent sometimes. So it's really hard to use it as an Oki move. I already mentioned the buffs about Kuma, where he should be able to jump higher and use the uppercut in the air.
Oh, he can't do the uppercut in the air?
Yeah, I think he can only do it from the ground. I'm pretty sure on that. So it makes it so that he can't reach, characters like Cat, Raiden, and Sackboy. These are pretty much his worst matchups because the only way he can kill them is with his level 3. And we all know how inefficient of a super that is.
Right.
And speaking of his level 3, we also kind of agreed that maybe they can make it to where it has like an additional effect, like when you kill opponents with it, you can make it to where they drop 10 to 15% of their AP. So you can counter the more expensive supers in the game. If you scout that they're going for the level 3, you can go for your level 3 and drain their meter without having to grab them,
making it more effective as a super.
Right. And I think the final thing I would want changed is air down square. Just
the body flop.
No, that's down triangle.
Ah, okay. Sorry.
The down square is where he does the hammer fist down. It's a hard knockdown. I think the only thing I'd want to see for that is just make it a little bit faster, so maybe it can be possible to combo into, so we can go for better hard knockdown setups. Increase the hitbox just a little bit.
Okay, that seems about pretty fair. Let's see. The AP, however, the only issue I have with that is if it were to be followed up with the charge punch, which actually leads into glitches right now. That would be the only issue I would have pertaining to that, where you do the charge punch and collect the AP, so you're already at level 1, or maybe even more at that point already.
Well, that's actually one of the bugs we wanted to talk about. If he collects AP, he gains 3 times the amount of AP. We were talking about just remove that altogether, because that's a bug. I'm pretty sure. I don't think that's intentional.
Okay, so that's one. Okay, so yeah, that would even that out, I guess. What other glitches does Heihachi have?
I've only heard this, that he has a handcuff glitch, just like
to explain.
Like
could you explain what a handcuff glitch is?
Basically, you lock their body onto yours, and they're completely helpless until you kill them. So it's game breaking.
For the charge fist, as we were talking about the bug for picking up AP, we did decide on getting rid of it altogether, but with one caveat of, if he does have charge hands and decides to grab, he should get maybe 30 extra AP from doing that. That way, it's not too much from whatever they might drop out, and, you know, there's still a reward for actually using the red hands. The reason I say so is because if you grab an opponent that is only like 10 points away from the level 3, and you have your charge fists now, you grab them, and you take their AP, you can get well over 200 just off of that. I think a good way to equalize it would just be, you know, just get an additional 30 instead of
200.
Yeah, instead of 200. I think that'd be a good way to equalize and help to.
In twos, that sounds like it would be like just completely monstrous, since your partner could just, you know, hover next to you, and suddenly you're both really close to level 3.
Exactly.
So, any other glitches that Heihachi has?
I know one. I know one more. It involves slide. Pretty, do you know about this one?
You'll have
I really glitch. Devin, pay attention.
Well, there's an issue with Heihachi's forward triangle. Like, it's forward triangle. It's a 2-hit combo. If you hit Sly, and Sly is the only character that reacts this way, the first hit will connect, the second hit will go right over his head, and Sly can punch with a super for free.
So,
he's too short. Yeah, I've gotten killed by that like all the time. Like, this is really stupid, because I made a correct read by punching the Sly, so I die for it.
Okay, so like, I don't know if that'd be a glitch. That might just be like a hitbox thing, and
yeah,
you should probably
hitbox
like fix that. Make that your move is a little bit just lower the bottom of it, so that it stays the same for everyone else, but it also hits Sly.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I think lowering the bottom of it would probably be the best answer for that, because then like the move isn't really fundamentally changed at all. You know, it just now works on the cast like it should.
Right.
Okay. Does that cover it for glitches? Or is there like, you know, any other glitches that cosmetic glitches are fine, like, you know, Banana gets stuck on his head, it's silly looking, but it's okay. But you know, as gameplay wise,
what do you have to say about the beach ball not being on online, or the beach ball in general? I'm just curious.
Me personally, I don't even like the beach ball. When I'm throwing my bowling pins, I'm expecting bowling pins to come out. I'm actually kind of glad that was taken out, because for one, it's a random factor. And for two, it can be used against. I mean, when I'm just messing around in the training room, I actually find it kind of off-putting when it comes out. I'm like, what is this? I mean, that's just me personally. I don't know what Pootie actually thinks about it.
Well, in my opinion, the beach ball is more of a novelty. And if you're amidst a battle and you're using the bowling pins, and however you're trying to use them against an opponent, you know, strategically, if the beach ball comes out, it takes a little bit longer to come out, and if it hits the opponent, nothing's going to happen unless you hit the ball first. So there's actually a chance where they can attack you amidst the beach ball coming out.
It just randomly changes the dynamic of
the
fight.
Which is a factor that the only other thing that would be like that would be if a stage hazard attacked in the middle of something. Yeah. You know, it leaves you open.
The reason I bring it up is because like it creates a divide between online and offline. You know, both competitively more so for like 1s and 2s, maybe some competitive free-for-alls, and it just creates this divide where like you would favor not having it show up, and so like maybe some sort of option of having it being able to turn off, like in the item select or something like that. How would you feel about that?
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, as much as I don't like the beach ball, it was pretty much a lazy fix for them to just remove it from online, because supposedly there's a lot of glitches with it online. So
I mean, as well as the fact that, the beach ball is a random factor, so that
Right.
if the beach ball is fully charged, it removes all AP from the character, hit by it, which,
I don't think
in
it
what
removes all, it just removes like massive AP.
It removes all AP. I fought
wow.
in practice mode. I've done it against it where I had a fully charged ball and I hit somebody with their level 3 and they lost all of it.
Wow, wow, that is something.
But actually getting it to that is more trouble than it's actually worth.
Yeah, of course.
Because if the opponent hits it when it's down, it might come back to you, and if it's a wild card, then what's the point of having it? If it's supposed to be in Heihachi's arsenal of his weapons or of his abilities, if it works out against him, then why should it be
something
the game in the first place?
Backfire on him.
Exactly.
Yeah, also, trying to keep random factors out of a competitive game is always a good idea.
Even in, like, free-for-alls, I'd feel like, if a beach ball was just sitting there and it, in the chaos of, multiple people, even in 2v2, that, the ball hits two people hit the ball and then it's fully charged and just smack Heihachi in the face. It's just like,
Yeah.
Thanks my own weapon I had no control over because, once you throw it out, you can't take it back in.
Competitively, it's a bit of a nuisance. Like, it's definitely fun for, not for casual matches like that. I don't mind that showing up. That'd be, like, really silly. But, right, from a competitive aspect, regardless of what playstyle you're doing, 1s, 2s, or free-for-all, random factors are not really welcome. Because you want to have control over your character. So, if that sums it up, I guess we should just reiterate some of the main points that we've covered, as far as like what moves should be tweaked, what glitches need to definitely be addressed, more so than others, and yeah.
Pootie, if you'd like to cover the emphasis on the moves, and Bomb, if you would cover the glitches.
Well, for the moves, like we said, for his bowling pin, if his hands are charged and he decides to use it, and it has no bonus, then his hands should remain unaffected. For his wave dash, it should go about, a fourth of the way fast, or farther, I should say. And for his down circle move, we should either reduce the charge time for it, because it can't be charged midway, or allow it the same charge time, or let it be charged periodically in different sessions.
And fix that move, and fix that one move versus Sly.
Right. And of course his down square, his aerial down square, where he just hammer fists them down to the ground. If that could just have a slightly larger hitbox, because it is not the most practical move to use.
As well as the tweaks to Kuma, where he can jump and do uppercut if they get really high up.
Have more of for a more aerial game, so opponents can't just lollygag up in the air for a little while until he disappears.
Okay, so now Bomb, the most important glitches to cover first, and then
I would think the most important glitch is to make sure, or to fix the handcuff glitch. We probably have to get more information about them. Also, Heihachi should not be collecting 3 times as much AP when he collects the orbs when he has his red hands, because he gets a little too much AP from like the stage. Like sometimes the stage just awards people AP, and you shouldn't be able to just shoot up from level 0 to level 3 just instantly like that. I think I mentioned if you use your level 3 when you have charged hands, or it might be any super, it causes the charged hands to be wasted, even though it's not a move you can gain AP with. I think that about covers it.
Alrighty. So yeah, that was our Heihachi podcast with two well-known Haihachis in our community. Bombrider, say something.
Say hi.
Something. Hi. Hey. I'm sorry.
And PootieTang69.
Thank you.
As well as hosts, me, Domino SNK, and
me, Devin3000.
And hopefully you guys can spread this around to other players, Heihachi players you run into. So to help build up the knowledge we have, and build a more sound list, a more community-based list that Sony Santa Monica can listen to, and hopefully patch out these issues and tweaks for the upcoming patch in the fall. So yeah, we'll catch you guys next time.